Hey everybody, how you doing? Welcome back to the Murfreesboro.com show. I am John Icari, your host, and I am very, very, very excited about this one. This episode has been on our bucket list for quite some time. We have two wonderful guests. Thank you, Miss Lisa Trail and James Evans from Murfreesboro City Schools and Rutherford County Schools, and you're both communications. Lisa, what's your official title?
Director of Communications and Strategic Initiatives.
Thank you, because I probably wouldn't remember.
It's okay.
All right. James, what's yours?
Chief Communications Officer.
All right, cool. You know what I just realized? Oh, damn. I missed a perfect intro opportunity. Hello, parents. This is James. I can't even do it. Go for it. Can you
Lisa tries to do my voice, too. It's pretty funny.
Oh, yeah?
Lisa, you want to try to do my voice?
Oh,
that would,
no,
yeah.
I'll be glad to hear you. Please. Please do that. Give us a little intro. Yeah.
It's funny how many times, though, kids will say, they'll walk up to me and say, do the voice. I'm like, do the voice. It's my voice. Like, I don't do the voice. Not a character I play. But so it's a rule. We talk about this with principals, too, to always introduce yourself when you're doing a message so parents know. Yeah. And so that's where that came from. So I always start out with, hey, parents, this is James Evans.
You totally need to do that one time.
With the James Evans voice. You know, everybody laughs about that. And like James, I get that said to me on a regular basis. Yeah. But like we do it on purpose so that people do know it's our voice. You know, like this is Lisa Trail. This is not. So I'm not going to pretend on air to be you.
We'll do it off camera. That's fine.
Well, no, let her try because they always go like 8 octaves lower than my voice actually. It's really good. They don't enunciate. I think I enunciate better than that. Go ahead, try it, Lisa.
Maybe you think you do.
Did you ever think y'all's voices would be like household, or your names would be household names in Rutherford County?
No, and my wife thinks it's ridiculous. She went to Chili's one night and was picking up a to-go order that we had ordered, and she came out, the lady, and said, "Are you the wife of the James Evans?" She goes, "Oh gosh, just let me pay for my food. This is silly." Yeah. So yeah,
of the James Evans.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. It does make it's kind of humorous.
Yeah.
Oh, that's we need you to do like a voiceover for some of the podcast episodes.
I've had, I'm sure you have too, businesses have reached out, like just a little local, hey,
really?
Would you help us record our voicemail and stuff like that? And yeah. And
you need an NIL deal.
If you can give me one of those, I'll get you one.
Okay, all right, let's work on that.
You all would make a fortune.
Hey.
But my ego got checked earlier this year. I tried to auction off doing someone's voicemail for them for United Way, like for a charity. And I only got like 4 hits. So I was like, well, it must not be as valuable. Like if it's around snow season, maybe, but not during the warm weather.
Snow day.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you do it now. Yeah. And, oh my God. Anybody out there want that? You can bid now. Go to the link.
It's a snow day thing.
Yeah, snow day thing. I would have bid on that in a heartbeat. I'm like,
it went for like $20. I was like, wow.
Wow.
So
maybe you don't need an NIL deal.
No. Hey, but it's still $20, right? It's for charity.
You need a bobblehead.
That's right.
A bobblehead? You can do that? Especially winter days. There you go. Oh my gosh, that's funny. What do you all go through? I'm just curious because obviously everything goes through you all. And what are you up at, like 2 a.m?
Around 4. 4 a.m. is usually when we need to really have those conversations to make a snow day call. Yeah. I'm sure James is like me. We really like to make them the day before. It makes parents a lot happier, makes us a lot happier. Sure, I don't really like getting up at 4 a.m., but there's a lot of decisions that go into it. And we're making the call, but we're not making the decision.
Yeah, there's a lot of people, right?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I got you.
Right. And, our goal is always to let parents know and employees know so they can plan, especially if they've got to come up with childcare and things like that. But the way weather is in Tennessee, it's one of those things where, we may get a dusting or we may get 3 foot of snow, and it's all going to happen maybe at 1 a.m. And so there's been times that I know that we have called off thinking, okay, it's pretty certain this is what we're going to do. Yeah. It's going to be 6 inches of snow tomorrow. Mm-hmm. And I remember one vividly. The director of schools was very upset that it was 40 degrees and not a flake in the sky the next day. And parents were mad because they had, had to make work arrangements and things like that. And so that's why a lot of times it's an overnight decision because we want to make sure that what they say is coming is actually coming.
I gotcha.
Yeah. Okay. No one knows more about the weather than teachers, farmers, and the weathermen, and most of them get it wrong. So it's just one of those where we really do have to work with our police departments and sheriff department and street departments to see what's going on after we see a little bit of precipitation. But we try our best, and sometimes we make the right call, sometimes we don't get it right on target, but it's always for the safety of the children, and it's based on whether a school bus can run. It's not based on whether I can drive to work. It's whether a school bus loaded with 90 students can get to work safely. And I think some people kind of forget that. James has a little harder time than I do because we're so compact, and our street department really gives us, they know where the problem areas are, and they're on top of it. You've got an entire county that looks so diverse, from Eagleville to Auburntown, actually. So a little bit harder for the county, and I totally get that. Yeah. So
I got you.
My job's a little bit easier.
I got you. So is that
her really job is easier though? Did you get that on the record?
I want to make my job on snow days making the correct call.
No, I heard her say
the correct call.
She has an easier job. I'm glad she finally admitted it. We've been talking about this for years.
So we get a lot of time. Obviously, I'm sure y'all get this too. Like, why is Murfreesboro City Schools not canceled when county is, and all that? Because you got to go further out in the county. The roads are probably a little worse.
You're dealing with rural roads, little small country roads. You're slab bridges that flood when it's raining and things like that. The flip side of that, though, is that you also have some who, if the weather's not perfect, if it's not 45 degrees and sunny, then they think we shouldn't be in school, and we can't do that either. So, like today's a great example. It's raining, it's windy, there's some lightning. They actually downgraded this morning to a marginal risk area, those kinds of things that we look at. Are there going to be some that have a little harder time getting to school? Yeah, it's raining. It's, but we also need to teach resilience to people as well, and that the world can't stop just because the day's not a perfect day. So, and we only have so many days that we can use as well. We have about 9 days in reserve that we can use.
We have 8.
So.
Yeah, and parents need to go to work too. So we know that when we change our schedule, it really does affect them. And in many cases, our students are relying on us for their breakfast and their lunch, and just that day of warmth and the safety of being in a school is sometimes better than where they are when they're at home. So there's lots of factors that go into it. It's not just, although we have a lot of fun with it, and we have our coffee mugs and our t-shirts, and they're a lot of fun because you have to make it fun, because sometimes we just get it wrong, but we try very hard to make sure that those winter weather days or inclement weather days are correct.
Yeah. The best one this year is a teacher sent me a photo of a teacher has made a prayer candle, like a Catholic prayer candle. That has like a cartoon version of me on it that says like praying to the God of snow days. And I was like, wow, I would love to have one of those for the trophy case. So I just let her know. That would be nice. But so let's talk about the way that we even have inclement weather days, because that's also one of the questions I saw that asked several times on your Facebook feed. But so Tennessee requires for school districts to go 180 days for 6.5 hours a day. Okay. If you go 7 hours a day, they allow you, which is what we do, and I think you guys do the same thing, right? Then you can stockpile those 30 minutes is what they call it. Okay. And that equals 13 days typically. But we can use those either for weather days or for training days. Gotcha. And so we use some of them for training. I think you guys do too. And so we usually have about 9 left over that are reserved for weather days. Okay. So some of the questions that I saw was that, well, can we just get out 9 or 10 days early? No, they won't let us do that, because it's really, they're adding on this extra time, but we're not adding on like an actual extra 10 days. Yeah, I gotcha. And so that's the way that works. And so we have gotten before where we've used all but one before, and we were getting really nervous. Like, if we use all of these, either the state has to waive it or we have to extend the school year. So we didn't have to do it that year. It was one of those, I don't know, 5 or 6 years ago.
It was 5 or 6 years when we really came back in that winter weather. Yeah, it took us forever to come back to school, actually.
The temperatures were hanging in the single digits. It wouldn't melt. It would snow again. And it was like we were living in the Midwest all of a sudden. It just would not go away. So
we have a check sheet. How many days? How many
days? How many days? Uh-oh. So what if you do have to extend? I mean...
So we've seen other counties have to do this, other districts, and the state typically will just waive the days for them, unless it's just something that's like set, 30 or 40 days. Yeah. In my time here, this is my 20th school season. We've not ever gone over. We've gotten really close, but we've never gone over. So
James is much older than I am. So it's only my 13th year.
He had the photos to promo this.
Oh my gosh, you are so much older than me. Thank you for using my 40-year-old.
Why did you use that? It was like her. She was like fresh out of college. That photo you used of her. I was like, what is that?
Well, yours is like a mug shot. So.
That was my smirk, which is my smile.
You know, it was funny when I was looking for the photos and I found that one of you and I was like, well, that's a good photo. I was like, straight on. And then I was looking for photos, but I found a bunch of like family shots and things. I was like, well, I don't want to put.
Send you one.
Well, I didn't. Yeah.
Hey, it's okay. I said it was mine.
She's got some headshots out there from her wilder days too. Like white snake jacket, tattoos.
White snake jacket. Oh my God. Now that would be awesome to see. Yes. Oh my God. Oh my God! Yeah,
yes, that's definitely.
Well, I figured you didn't want me posting pictures of you with your family, and so I was like,
no, it's fine. It's fine. I have received lots of text messages from that. Like,
oh, have you?
Maybe you should update your photo. I don't know.
I
like my 40-year-old photo.
I'm trying to remember where I actually got that photo from.
I did find where you got it, so that's on me.
Okay,
but it was done. Actually, Murfreesboro Magazine took the photo.
Did they?
Yeah,
well, thanks, Murfreesboro Magazine.
Yeah, thanks, Murfreesboro Magazine. I had to go back and look at that. So
okay,
was it the senior citizens issue? Is that what that was?
It was.
Oh, I love it. There's no rivalry here, folks.
What they did back then, yeah. What she did look like.
That's right. The before and after.
Before Dr. Duke.
Well, the good thing is both of them look great.
Oh, yeah, sure, yeah. I'll quit telling you like a mugshot then.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I got you. Now, I'm curious, actually, I wanted to ask y'all, did y'all see or did you go to the press conference yesterday with Joe Carr?
I was there, yes, sir.
Were you? Okay, I wasn't there, but I heard it and talking about how he talked about schools and funding and the growth and all that stuff. Right. I didn't realize there was. Now, I didn't see the actual numbers, but when he's talking about the disparity between funding and all that, do you want to get into that? Because obviously you know more than I do. Because I know that comes up a lot.
Now he's the expert on that, and
okay.
They do have I will plug this, they have a website out there right now called helprutherford.org,
yes. Mm-hmm.
and trying to get people to sign the petition. But the gist of it is some other counties around us, Wilson and Williamson, are allowed to charge some different types of impact fees on new construction for homes, and that helps offset the growth, the funding that's needed for growth, because as Mayor Carr explained, property taxes are meant to maintain what you already have. But when you have the growth rate that we're having, 3 or 4% some years in Rutherford County, the property taxes can't keep up. And so they're asking the state to authorize where we can study that and look at adding some additional fees so that those who are moving here, and I'm not a native Rutherford County, so I moved here too, but when we move here, that we are the ones causing the growth, or the ones helping pay for the growth. That's the gist of it.
Okay, so I remember that he talked about the plan of all. Okay, gotcha. Because it was because don't we have the top? We have the top elementary, top middle school, and second. Was that right?
Yeah. So U.S. News and World Report puts out a ranking every year. McFadden School of Excellence in the county is rated as the #1 elementary school in the state, and that's not a dig at city schools because they have some great school. That's the great thing. Even though we joke about each other a lot, we have great schools here. City schools, county schools. I mean, people move here and just like, it's unbelievable what we're getting compared to other places. Yeah. But McFadden School of Excellence here, one of my children went there. It's a great school, but it's rated as the top elementary school in the state. The top middle school is Central Magnet School. Okay. The second top high school is Central High School, which is all one school actually, and that flip-flops. Some years they're ranked 1, some years they're ranked 2. Okay. Thurman Francis Arts Academy in Smyrna is also usually ranked very highly. I think Discovery School is and that's a city school. They're ranked highly as well, and some others, Scales and Salem.
We get such great. Again, we have great schools for our students, and we work together well.
Oh, yeah. My dad is a county commissioner in another Middle Tennessee county, and he'll call me and just like, how are you guys doing this? Like, our school system is struggling, and it's the school district that I grew up in. It's a great school system too, but we are now, Rutherford County is now the 4th largest school district in the state. So it's Shelby County, which is Memphis, Nashville, which is Davidson County, and then Knox County, and then we are far surpassed Hamilton County.
Really? Okay.
But if you look at those large school districts, the top 5 large school districts, the Tennessean just did a analysis of this a couple of weeks ago, or about a month ago. Yeah. We have the highest graduation rate of all of them. Like theirs are in the like the 80s. We're 96.2. Yeah. So we're getting a lot of bang for our buck here. We are the 117th out of 142 for funding per pupil. So we're not anywhere near the top for funding, but we are one of the highest performing in the state, especially for our size.
And then if you added, Murfreesboro City Schools, we're pre-K through 6th grade. We're still coming in at the 22nd largest school district in Tennessee. Dang. So if you added us together, we are 2 large school districts. Yeah. And working well together. I think our directors work well together. James and I mostly get along. No, but we just feed right into Rutherford County, and we work to make sure what we're doing works well when they go in either 6th or 7th grade, depending on what a parent wants to do.
Yeah. And their students are going to be our students one day,
right.
So it makes sense for us to care what they're doing. Our 2 directors work well together, like Lisa said, and really respect each other. They've worked together before. Yeah. Dr. Duke used to be with our district before he went to the city, and he's doing a great job over there. His son and my oldest son grew up in McFadden together. Okay. We're like best friends growing up, so we've all known each other a long time. But we get the question a lot, why don't you guys just combine? Yeah. And that was one of the questions in your Facebook feed as well.
Thank you for that transition.
Yeah. So if we combined, we would be, you guys have 9,500?
Yes.
We have about 52,000. Yeah. We would be larger than Knox County.
Oh.
So do you want where do you get better service, smaller organizations or larger ones?
Yeah, I got you.
I mean, we're already a large one, and you guys are a large district.
And we're both, they're both successful districts. So, and when people ask me that, I usually say, this is not unusual. There's 95 counties. There's 142 school districts. So we're not unusual. Okay. So there's districts like ours across the state. Sometimes not working as well together as what we do. Sometimes working better. I don't know. I can't really speak for them, but it's not unusual to have 2 districts in one county.
Gotcha.
And I think with that, Murfreesboro City Schools is 130 something years old. It just is, and you wouldn't get away with less buildings. It's not like we have a lot of capacity at both places where we're busting at the seams. So
and you still need the personnel to provide those services. So there's not as much duplication as people think. We try to work together. We had a meeting a month or so ago to talk about things like bus routes so that we're not overlapping each other, things like that, and try to work out some ways to work together better to be more efficient. But
and James doesn't want me to be his boss.
That's true. I would have to find another job. That's exactly right. Start a charter school or something.
I love you too. This is great. That's awesome. But you totally threw me off with that. I was totally going somewhere, and I got.
Sorry.
No, that was great. But because that was one of the questions we got a lot was, hey, why don't you just combine and all that stuff, and then.
Well, and I've been in Murfreesboro for a long time, and the study's been done several times. People get this. It comes up about every 10 years. There's really not a duplicacy. Oh, I'll let you say the word.
Yeah, I'm glad that we're not doing another spelling bee because I'm sure she couldn't spell that.
Our services are not duplicated. Yeah. We are work together, and there's really not a cost savings. And that's not from just our point of view. The studies keep showing it. And it's okay, let's get past this. Let's be 2 great districts and keep going.
Okay. Yeah, I used to be a news reporter before I took this job, which was a long time ago.
Oh, nice. I didn't know that.
Yeah, I worked before the Daily News Journal was part of Gannett. The Tennessean had an office here called Rutherford AM. And I was one of the reporters there. But cool. The county and city did a study then, and I reported on it. Yeah. And it actually was going to cost more because when you try to equalize some of the benefits and things like that, it was going to make the cost go up. So it sounds good. It's one of those things that's like, oh, yeah, let's combine because that's going to – but there's so many headaches with that. Yeah. And trying to unravel that too and figure out ways to combine things. Metro Nashville is a metro. They're a metropolitan. They combined many moons ago. But there's, like Lisa said, there's a lot of counties that have smaller districts within them, and you're going to get better service that way.
Yeah.
I got you. And by the way, I know where I was going with that. Thank you, because you had mentioned busting at the seams with the schools. And that was a lot of private messages I got where people asking about the new schools planned and the growth and all that stuff. So you want to elaborate on that a little bit?
What are you guys planning right now? Do you have a new school on the horizon?
We do not have a date for our new school. So in the future, yes, our schools on the west side, which is probably where you're seeing that growth too, or really just seeing growth, which our west side schools are Salem and Scales, Overall Creek, Cason Lane. That side of town is just growing. So that'll be where we'll be looking at a new school in the next few years. The other parts that we see, like you just see so many apartment complexes coming up or condos. And Irma Siegel has had a growth spurt this year that we haven't seen in the past 4 or 5 years. So you just kind of look at those outskirts of the town and you see more and more population growing. Black Fox is full, and And we've done as much as we can. Like Black Fox, we expanded, I think 5 years ago, just to add some more wings onto that school. We expanded Hobgood to add more to that school. So we're expanding our current schools as much as possible. Yeah. But then in the end, you'll have to look at, okay, how much rezoning can we do? Yeah. And Rutherford County just did a huge, kudos to you guys for all the community meetings you had looking at zoning. And once they get their zoning plan, we'll kind of follow with them too. Again, we want to make sure that we're working together and not just apart.
Yeah, I can only imagine that rezoning plan. Oh, my goodness.
So that's the largest one that we've ever done. Yeah. And about a year and a half ago, our new director of schools, Dr. Sullivan, he was new at the time, but he said, one of the biggest complaints we always get is that we rezone and then 2 years later we rezone again. So people are constantly being shuffled. He wanted something that was more long-term. So he and the board hired a company out of the Kansas City area that specializes in school zoning. They study everything, trends, building capacities, all those things, and they come up with some recommendations, and they bring them to the board. And so for a year they did community meetings, studying plans, looking at growth patterns, and they came back and said, here's a countywide rezoning plan in phases, elementary, middle, and high. Okay. Here's what you need. Here's where you need to build the schools to make this work. And so we have approved that plan now. The board has approved it. Starting about 18 months from now, we'll have an elementary school open on the Beatty Farm property. That's what we're working toward now. Okay. That will be the first piece, and so when that school opens, it'll cause a shift in the elementary zoning countywide. We also have 3 additions being built right now at high schools: Oakland, Riverdale, and Smyrna High School. Those are opening that same August of 2 years from now, August of 25, I believe that is. Yeah. And so the high schools will also shift that same year. The middle schools won't change that year because the new middle school in the Beatty Farm property is supposed to open the next year, August of 26th, and that will help us to do the middle school zoning. But it's countywide. We've never done one countywide before. That's going to help realign a lot of things. It's going to be painful. There's going to be some parents who are not going to be happy about it, but we've already told them what the plan looks like. So if they want to move, now is the time to do it. They have an 18-month head start to do something. But that will help us. We wanted to make sure that we were using all the available seats that we have first before we started building new things. And so this study helped us do that. And it was great that they were third party. They're not attached to, like, I grew up here, I went to this school, that school. They were completely unbiased and just came in and said, here's everything we saw and what we think you should do. Okay. And then we tweaked it from there, added some things in, took some community input, multiple parent meetings, and integrated all that into the plan. So it's a big task, but it's going to pay off.
Is there a plan, or is it possible even for, if parents really want their kid to stay in a certain zone and they got rezoned, can they do that, or is that not an option?
So every year we do, and you guys do something similar, I'm sure, but they're called zone exemptions or choice school applications. We advertise any schools that have available seats. We take applications. We're doing that right now through the end of January. Okay. And then we do a lottery at the end of it to say, if we have 50 seats at Oakland High School, for example, everybody who wants one of those seats applies. We do a lottery, and we pick 50. Okay. So, yes, there's a chance. It's not guaranteed, but if there's openings, there's absolutely a chance.
Okay, so that is okay.
Yeah. But there are some people who are going to get rezoned and not be able to stay because there's not space there. For example, Stewart's Creek Elementary School is our most overcrowded elementary school now. It has about 1,400 students. It's built for 1,000.
Oh, wow.
We can't take any more students, so we've shut it down. It does not take any new students at all. We have another school that we are shifting students over to temporarily until this new school opens. Okay.
So, and 1,000 students is a lot for an elementary school. So when you get past capacity,
they're on the stages,
they're everywhere. And then you have teachers on carts, which that's what we do. So I'm assuming you have teachers on carts. You just got to take care of the children. Yeah.
Those roving teachers.
Roving teachers, I call them.
Yeah, I got you. Dang. Okay. And shout out to the teachers out there, by the way. Thank you all for also taking care of our kids. And I can imagine the stress that puts on teachers as well, having, if you're used to a class load of 20 and all of a sudden you have 30, what does that do?
And it's not just the teachers, it's everything. I mean, the cafeterias are built for a certain
Oh,
too.
yeah. I didn't think
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
Gymnasiums are built for a certain drop-off line. So when you get
Oh, my
past
gosh. The drop-off
capacity,
lines. Yes.
it makes a difference.
But you'll have parents that say, "Why does my kid eat lunch every day at 10:30? Because we have to get 1,500 kids through the cafeteria.
Yeah.
It runs from 10:30 until 1:30 every
Yeah.
day. It has to just to get them through.
Yeah.
So
Dang.
that's
Okay.
why snacks are important. When those teachers say, "Please pack snacks for your kindergartner,"
Yeah.
that's why, because they're going to get hungry at 1 o'clock.
Yeah.
And you know,
Dang.
when they get hangry, they get hangry.
They get,
you know?
they get angry. That's right. Yeah. No. Especially like I think middle school, high school, especially boys, because they eat everything in the kitchen that you can possibly get their hands on. Imagine when they go
Coming
through
from
school.
the household with girls, they also do.
Oh, they
that.
do? Okay.
Yeah.
I was familiar with boys, so I got you. Okay. That's
Those
fine.
girl athletes can put down some serious food as well.
Oh, I don't doubt. Yeah, for
Yeah,
sure.
we can't keep ramen at my house. I have 3 boys, and that's their favorite food: ramen, yogurt, fruit. That's
No
it.
way.
We just cannot keep enough in the house. So
That's funny. When I was little, mine was ramen, but I would do this is probably gross, but I'd do a can of tuna with it, and it was like tuna helper.
you're right, John. That is
That
gross.
is
That is
nasty.
gross. I
That
know.
is
That
I
is
just wanted to gross everybody out this morning with that.
That
one,
was
so.
during
Throw some hot
college or when
tamales
you
in
were a
it,
child?
too.
Oh, that was also when I broke in college. Yes, it was.
In
Yeah.
It
college,
was a 50-cent meal. It was great. It was like tuna.
It's the way to
helper,
get
I
your
swear.
yeah. It's like getting protein in there though, so it's not just carb,
Yeah, it was
right?
protein, carbs, and a whole lot of sodium. Yeah, you got it. Well, if y'all don't mind, I like my favorite part of these shows, the community questions, just because there were so many, and I
Is
know
it like a
y'all-
lightning round? Is that what we're doing?
Yes, we're gonna
Okay.
answer now.
Can I have a buzzer?
Yeah. Any one that I don't want to answer, I'm just going to say Lisa will grab that one.
Lisa
for
will.
us. So,
I need to do that. Have some kind of little buzzer thing here, and make bloop, question. But anyways, but there were first off, again, thank you all for your time and coming. But I know you're pressed for time, and there were 1.5 million questions. Thank you for everybody who posted. So I tried to condense them down a little bit and just kind of generalize some of these. But first off, I thought this was actually kind of nice. I got a message from somebody that said, please make sure you thank them for their dedication and commitment and services to our community and being the voice of the education system and the heart that you both hold for your jobs and taking care of our kids. So thank you.
well, and we have children, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, not together. It's not that kind of thing, but we have children, and so I mean, we that's right. Just for the record, her child's getting married. Mine are still in school. So that tells you. But no, I mean, well, of course, we want to see the school systems be successful too, because our kids benefit from it. So you know, we're parents as well as employees.
Yeah. Okay. Well, awesome. Well, the first question we already went over about the 2 school districts. Boom. Got that one. Second one, actually, this one came up a few times. Have you ever looked into the Where's the Bus app? Have you seen that? Mm-hmm. Where's the Bus? Is there any plans on utilizing that at all, or no?
We have an app for our buses that parents
Oh,
can.
there you go. Okay.
Yeah, they can watch their bus.
Oh, how do they? I mean, what's the name of the app? They can find it on the App Store.
If you are on our bus, you already have it.
Oh, what?
Sorry.
Then why
I mean,
are
it's
people
just-
asking about it? God bless
Probably
people.
because they don't have a child on the bus.
Yeah, and my kids aren't on the bus, so I do know that we have the Wi-Fi system where we track it. There's probably an app too. I just don't know what it's
Yeah,
called.
yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but I can look into that.
Really?
Yeah, I'll post it on your page.
I literally, please do. I had a couple people write in about that, but there's already an app, folks.
There is. I mean, it's
Okay.
just one of those. If you have a substitute bus, you might not be able to track your child, but there's an app for that.
I got
I know we can track them because we do that live. I'm not sure if parents have access to that or not. There's also some security issues there too.
Yeah,
you
I
don't
got
necessarily want to know because you have to remember we have to balance sometimes between safety. So
Totally get it.
you don't want just people who are up to no good knowing where
Right.
kids are all the time because that can be,
that's
especially when they're out on
probably-
county roads.
Yeah, I
so.
probably sounded a little smart on that, so I'm sorry, but pretty much if you have a child on the bus, you know how to.
No, but that's
Yeah.
no, I appreciate that. Thank you. And also, I mean, for parents, if you've never heard of it, Life 360, wonderful app. You can just family, kids. There you go.
Well, exactly, and I realize the elementary kids probably don't have their own phones, but a lot of our middle school and high school kids do. Live 360, or there's things on iPhones and Android that are already built in where you can track where your child is, those kinds of things as well.
Yeah, I think really with the app, what they're looking for is my bus almost here?
Right.
Like as they run out the door to
I got
to get it. So
Get the bus.
yeah, catch that bus, please. But
Yeah. And it would have been nice if those were around when we were younger. Cause I remember that running out and looking out in the cold days, and then you run down the road.
Okay, well let's just talk
So
about
I
when
was
we were
spoiled,
younger.
but-
Did you really have an app?
No, I didn't have a
Okay.
phone. I didn't have nothing.
I was spoiled as a child because we lived on a dead end road. So when the bus came by,
Yeah.
if I missed it, it had to turn around and come back. So
there
I
you
always
go.
had a second chance, and
Yeah.
she hated that. Shelby Bell
Yeah.
was my bus driver.
That's
She
funny.
hated,
Aw,
she said,
isn't
"Come
that
out the
funny?
first time,"
Yeah.
and I was like, "Sorry."
Mine was Norval Taylor.
Really?
That's
my dad
funny.
we lived in the country, so my dad had to build him a turnaround on the farm. Yeah,
There
you know
you
your
go.
bus drivers.
I had
right?
the
There you
same
go.
driver from kindergarten until I started driving in high school.
way.
Same driver.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, our neighborhood had one in and one out, and I was the first cul-de-sac on the left as you came into the neighborhood. So I would actually do that too. Same thing. Drove
Do you
her
miss
nuts.
it? Yeah.
But she's like, get it on the first try, because then you had to stop and I had to cross the road and all that other stuff versus just hop on. But anyways, but the second one was kind of long. I'm going to read this out. It says, I'm wondering with the national studies of the positive impact of social and emotional training that are available for teachers to effectively speak and respond to students, does either district feel that such training would be implemented into your district?
Lisa?
So we already have a social emotional program
There you
going
go.
on
Okay.
in Murfreesboro City Schools. We have counselors, we have social workers, we have outside counselors that come in. Right now, and especially after COVID, we've seen a whole lot of those social emotional issues that come up. So that is being addressed. In fact, that was one of Dr. Duke's primary goals when he came in as director, is to make sure we looked at those. It goes back to the same thing as whenever we started lunch and breakfast in the schools. If a child is hungry, they can't learn. If a child is not socially, emotionally stable, they can't learn.
Got it.
And there's just a lot of things that come from the home into the classroom, and we need to be able to work with that and do a good job with it. And teachers do know it, but we also have those outside folks that are helping them.
Okay.
And it's one of those touchy areas too, because you have some families that will say, I don't want any of that with you all at school. Like, that's not your job. We want you to teach writing and arithmetic and those kinds of things. And so we do have resources there. We have our counselors as well. We have some mental health resources for employees, parents, and students that if they want them. But, you have to be careful and not, go too far with that without their permission. So,
Okay.
But the resources are there for those who want it.
Okay, perfect. Here's one we got into obviously the growth of the schools and everything, but is there a plan for the teachers as the growth, to bring on more teachers, how many, that sort of thing for each district?
Yeah, so we're having one of the best years we've had in a while as far as teacher vacancies. We were down to like 3 that we needed at one point this year. But with a district our size, sometimes you'll have 50 openings for various positions just because it's hard to find teachers. There is a teacher shortage all over. If you ask, MTSU used to be the teacher college. That's what it was started for, right? Yeah. They're turning out fewer and fewer teachers because people are choosing not to go into education. So we have some programs now that are called Grow Your Own, and you guys may be doing that too, where we can actually train people out of industry to become teachers and get their teaching license. The state allows that. Okay. And that has helped tremendously. Our board has also done some pretty creative things too with recruitment bonuses and things like that for hard to fill areas. So we're doing well there, but it is a struggle every year that the principals compete over the best teachers and all of those things. And as we're growing, it's harder and harder to find them, but we're doing okay. But we're required to have so many teachers per student as it is. And so we have a recruiting person that's all that they do, recruit and go around to different job fairs and different universities and those kinds of things. So, yeah.
All right. And then this one, all in caps, one word, lockers.
I read that one.
Did you? Okay.
That's definitely James.
So lockers are a funny thing. It's a sign of the changing times. The schools will tell you that people don't use lockers like they used to, right? I used to love having a locker.
Oh, yeah, I used
right?
it all the time. Yeah.
And students, for majority, do not use them, and so they've kind of stopped assigning them. A lot of schools have because they just don't have any, people don't want them. Yeah. Some schools have taken them out because they just were not getting used. But then you do have some, especially, and I saw some of those comments too, my child, the backpack weighs more than my child does. Yeah. That's something they should talk with their principal about. Is there a way that we can get, if they're having physical issues with having to carry that much weight, can we work something out for those few who still want it? Got it. And there are still schools that use them. My child's school does use them, but there are lots that the principal will tell you, kids just don't want them. They're taking up space, and so we've started taking those out or just not utilizing them.
Okay. All right. Well, there you go. All right. We talked about this beforehand. It said, ask about the chess and critical thinking programs.
Yeah. So Rob Mitchell is our property assessor here, and he and some others have really been pushing having more chess programs in our schools because it helps with critical thinking. We already have some in our schools, and our board has talked to him about we're going to do some more things there. It's not the number one priority. We have some other things that we're required to do, but it's one of those things that's an enrichment activity that we want to start offering more of.
Okay.
Yeah, and I think that when you're talking about critical thinking, obviously he's a huge chess player, but there's also lots of other things that we're doing. The robotics, I know Rutherford County has a great robotics program.
Yeah.
We have a great robotics program. There's STEAM walks and all kinds of other things that go out there that are requiring those critical thinking. We even have some of those that are more the soft skills, the Amazing Shake that Rutherford County Chamber of Commerce is sponsoring. Rutherford County students are there. Murfreesboro City School students are there. So we really do respond to what our community, our future employers are talking to us about and saying, hey, they need soft skills, they need critical thinking skills, they do need to know how to read, write, and all of that, but there's some other skills that they need in the workplace. So I think with both districts, we listen to that, and we try to accommodate with ways where the children are really into it, as well as you have to have teacher sponsors and some adult there as they're going along.
Awesome. Real quick, funny story. I'll appreciate it. When I was younger, we lived in Albuquerque, New Mexico for a short stint, and I was 12 years old, and our math teacher, he he was also the chess coach. And so when we would get ahead in class or finish a test or something, he would take out the chess boards and play and whatever. And he played me one day, and just because I didn't have anybody to play, and I beat him. And so he helped me arrange to go to a chess tournament when I was 12. Turns out it was the state tournament, and I won the whole thing.
Ooh, good for you.
Random story. I have a little chess trophy. I was the 1994 New Mexico State chess champion.
I don't have that trophy.
That's incredible. Are we surprised that Lisa doesn't have that trophy? We know, but
that's my one claim to fame.
I was a future farmer.
Future farmer.
She does. So I am going to brag on Lisa. She has a hobby that people probably don't know. What is it you and your family raise?
I don't
know if that's the right word.
Apiarist. Yeah. I have a bee farm.
Oh,
Actually,
I
have beehives. I don't have a farm. I mean, the farm is there, but it's just beehives.
Oh, that is cool.
Yeah.
She usually brings us honey, though. I guess we didn't get any today.
Well, that daughter that's getting married wants to give honey away as favors. No one got honey this year.
Oh, your daughter.
So it is a much harder hobby than I ever thought it would be,
really?
To be quite honest. Yes, it's just.
How many times have you been stung?
Lots.
You're like, duh, God bless. Yeah.
I'm dealing with bees.
Right, yeah.
So that's a fascinating thing that she does. We are doing that, just to segue here. One of our schools has done this now. So Stewart's Creek Middle School has beehives and all those things. And they started it last year. Yeah. It's something new that they're not really publicizing a lot yet because they're trying to get it mastered before they really start pushing it. But they plan to produce their own honey. But the students are working it with the teacher. And it's those kinds of enrichment things that my dad's like, how are you guys doing that?
Can we please come do a video on that? That would be so cool. Once you're ready.
Yeah.
You're going to have to suit up.
I plan on it. Yeah. I don't shoot. That's all. You get stung in the neck.
You get stung lots of places. But yeah.
Lots of, ouch.
So we do have lives outside of schools. I mean, so thank you, my bee.
We try to have lives outside of school.
Yeah. That's so cool, though.
James is a handyman.
I don't know what she's talking about. I build stuff to. It's cheaper than therapy.
Amen to that. Yes, it is. So, okay. I'm sorry. I could digress. Back on track. My fault. Here was one. It was. Why does the school call parents to inform them of reminders during school hours?
Okay, I think that one's directed at me.
Yeah, that's not me. I'm like, oh wow.
So this year I had to send some. I sent some message and. I got so much criticism from parents of this one school saying, he called at 1:30 today. As soon as I saw James Evans' number on there, I assumed something was wrong. They were going to close school or whatever. And it was actually something pretty good. But I can't remember what the topic was, but we were trying to get word out before it happened. There was something happening that evening, and we wanted to send one last reminder.
Got it.
So we typically don't send it during the day. But we're also not the Grim Reaper. If we're calling, it could be something good. Maybe your child just won the chess tournament or something. You never know.
Maybe he's a state champion.
Yeah, that's right. We have a principal that used to say that you have to make deposits and withdrawals. So we're trying to make those deposits too, so parents are used to us communicating during the day. Yeah. It's not always just something bad. But we do try to send it after hours when we know people are hopefully home from work or something like that, if we can.
Okay.
So.
All right. Now, I don't even know if you want to touch on this one.
It's going to be remembered forever.
Right.
Here comes a tsunami. One kind. But this one, This is pretty. Have them break down the grading systems for schools. We want to.
So no, I know what they're talking about. There's a new letter grade system that the state put in. Actually, they passed it back before COVID, but because of COVID and some testing issues at the state level, they didn't implement it until now.
Okay.
So this year was the first year that our schools received letter grades, and our schools all did well for the most part. The problem that we've had, and you will hear that we've criticized it, is that they didn't tell us what the rules were until almost a year after the kids took the test.
Gotcha. Okay.
And so the metaphor that we've talked about is like, imagine watching like the Alabama-Tennessee game, right?
Oh, gosh, yeah.
But you don't know where the end zones are. You don't know who had different flags and fouls for different things. Yeah. And then a year later, they let you know who won based on them reviewing the tapes. That's what it feels like, is that we don't mind accountability, but we'd like to know what it is that we're wanting to measure from our students so that we make sure that that's what we have them prepared for.
Okay.
But our schools did pretty well. We had mostly A's and B's. We had a few C's, and we had 4 D's. None of our schools failed. I don't think you guys had any either. And the schools that got D's, they already know what they should be working on, and they incorporate that into their into their improvement plans. But you've probably seen this, and I may be saying too much, but there are those who there's a little bit of a war on public education by some at the state level. They're wanting to privatize things and all that stuff. And this is not supposed to be a criticism of private schools or homeschool, because we've got a lot of great programs there too. But you know, let's do it on an equal. Let's not cheat to do it, right? Let's do it fair.
I got you.
And so a lot of school districts have criticized the way these grades were rolled out, almost like a gotcha. Yeah. You know, it's just that's not where we're trying to help kids.
Yeah.
So
I got you.
Yeah. And that's one grade. I mean, even when we send report cards home, we don't send one grade home.
Yeah.
You know, you get a grade for each score, and they just combined it. But I do think it is. It just, we didn't know what we were playing on.
I got you.
Know. Okay. You gave us the rules afterwards.
And
that's the biggest criticism, which is a valid criticism of what happened.
Oh, yeah, totally. I 100% get it. And all right. Well, thank you for that. There were a couple questions around, I guess you want to just kind of group these all together in like the safety. Well, one of them was, a couple of them was, is there ever an opportunity to fence in the playgrounds? Like all the playgrounds. One of them was, are you planning on bulletproofing the glass windows? You know, stuff like that. Are there any kind of just all over generic?
Yeah, so I mean, of course, school safety has gotten a lot of attention because of like the shooting in Nashville and the shooting we had a week or so ago in Iowa. Big topics, and they should be. So parents want, like I'm one too. I want to know that when I send my kid to school, they're going to be safe and come home that afternoon. That's what parents' biggest fear. They don't care if they learn anything. Safety is the top priority. It should be, right? Yeah. And so there's been a lot of discussion about bulletproofing glass and those things. Okay. And the state is doing some things to help us with those. There's film you can put over glass, but there's a lot of schools that have to retrofit. We also don't, on purpose, we don't talk a lot of specifics because we don't want the bad guys knowing where we've done things. Yeah. So some things people are going to know that we did because it's visual and they can see it, and there's some things they don't know that we've done to be prepared. But one thing that we're proud of is that we had the first SRO program in the state of Tennessee 30 years ago. We were the first schools to have SROs. We have them in every school. We have some schools that have multiple SROs. Yeah. We have, and they're incredible to work with. That partnership there. And then we did a huge training last week before everyone came back with the sheriff's office and emergency management in the morning for some of our or all of our principals. And then all of our elementary school teachers and employees got trained at a separate training on some things to do. And middle school and high school principal or employees are going to be doing the same training coming up in about a month and a half.
Wow.
So those kinds of things that people don't necessarily see but that we're doing. And those drills you hear about, I mean, we have safety weeks and drill weeks and constantly drilling. Yeah. It's one of the top things that we do. So.
All right. Cool.
And you guys do something very similar.
I'm just going to say ditto to that.
Ditto,
you know, it's really nice to have those SROs in the buildings, and we have one in every building. We have floaters. Our Murfreesboro Police Department's been great. They actually have an entire division just for school safety now. But other than that, we really don't talk about the school safety, what all we're doing for it. It's taken very seriously. Our board takes it very seriously. Even when we have board meetings where we're talking safety, that's actually a private meeting because we want to make sure that what we're doing is the right thing to do, and unfortunately, you don't know who the bad guy is.
That is very true. Yeah. Okay.
Or girl.
Yeah. Yes. Bad person.
There you
bad
go.
person. There you go. All right. And then just pretty much wrapping it up on a few more here. Is there still a shortage of bus drivers? And if so, what are the long-term plans?
So we have different systems. Tell them how yours works.
So our bus drivers are employees of ours.
Okay.
Our buses are our Murfreesboro City School buses. They do more contract, I think. Yeah, the simple answer is yes, there is a shortage of bus drivers. Not really sure why there's such a shortage of bus drivers, but it's not just us. It's across the state and nation. And we are doing lots of recruitment bonuses. We teach our own. We have aides on all of our buses. So the aide goes, the hope is that you start as a bus aide and then you learn how to go to that bus driver. They have a CDL license, the same CDL license that every other CDL driver has. I know that there are some looks at that, whether a bus, for instance, to have your CDL license, you have to know all the mechanics under your hood. Well, we have mechanics, so is that really necessary for a bus driver to have? So some of those things we're working with the state and other districts just to see what's going on and how we can help. But yes, and we need bus drivers. If anyone wants to come and be a bus driver, come on.
Yeah.
Yeah, we use a contractor system, so we contract with bus owners. That's why, and in Tennessee, you're allowed to do one or the other. That's just the way we've done it forever. And then they either drive their own bus or they hire a bus driver. So we have had some shortages with routes here and there, about 5 this year.
Okay.
But we have 360-something routes. So there's a shortage, but it's not a massive shortage. Some of the other counties around us have seen more. Our board has been pretty good about helping sweeten the deal on the contract to get more people attracted to do that. Yeah. But it's a struggle. I mean, it's not like we are overflowing. 10 years ago, we had a lot more begging for contracts than we do now. So
I gotcha. All right, cool. And just about 2 more here. We had one person ask, is there a chance or a future plan to adopt like a buddy system for after-school sports for the elementary school kids between Murfreesboro City Schools and like, can they work together? Is there for like football club or anything like that?
I read that. I wasn't really sure what they were meaning. There are so many recreational leagues across Rutherford County that I think you do see Murfreesboro City School students and Rutherford County students commingling in those. Other than that, did you get a different gist of what that question meant?
No, I was going to say the County Rec League, which is what most people call Junior Pro. Okay. It's really aimed at elementary schools. You guys are in the same league there, right? I helped coach one of my kids' teams this year. That's really the first opportunity, other than some of the private ones. There's a ton of soccer clubs and football clubs and things like that. But there's already some of those things there that are very successful through County Rec, and they really focus on just introducing students to the sport and kind of getting that love for it, and then it grows into middle school. So I don't think there's really a need to do anything more. Because I've not heard of anybody being turned away. There's plenty of opportunities.
And I think that's the same thing as what I was looking at and looking at the opportunities, because the county offers it, the city offers it. And then, again, so many soccer clubs and baseball clubs and all of that. So that's really not
travel leagues.
Travel leagues. I think that's something that is best suited under those Parks and Rec instead of under the school districts.
So it sounds like it's already there. Yeah. You just got to know.
That one actually surprised me a little bit.
Okay. All right. Well, in that case, check out Parks and Rec, folks.
Yeah.
Parks and Rec and County Rec, all those.
Yeah, and I may have just misinterpreted what they were trying to ask.
I got you. No, you're fine. Well, I thank you for explaining it. Yeah. So that helps out. So somebody out there watching and listening will get something out of that. Yeah. So thank you. And then last one, actually, is there any plans to formalize a policy on visitors during school lunches, especially in elementary school?
Yeah, I saw that too. I wasn't sure exactly what they were asking. We do have a policy on lunches. Now, the schools... Principals have to have some discretion on how it works because every building's a little different. So, for example, I have some of my children go to campus school. They have a very small lunchroom, so they just can't have full bore. So there's like a sign up for if you want to have lunch with your kid, you kind of got to get in the rotation of when you can come. So we have to leave principals some discretion there. But there are formal rules and all those. The schools communicate those out to their parents so they understand what is available.
Yeah, I think that comes down to capacity, because I know I've received that question from parents in the past, and it's a capacity issue, and the principal has to know what the capacity is in that lunchroom, and parents don't sit amongst everyone else, so then you have to have seating for them. So I think and again, we have rules that go around that, but at the end, it's the principal's discretion, because they know what's happening in their lunchroom. And like James was talking about starting lunch at 10:30 in the morning, well, that happens. It happens at our schools. It happens at Rutherford County. Our lunchrooms are just as they're just one size.
Right.
Yeah.
That school that has 1,400 kids,
Yeah.
they're not going to be able to have a lot of visitors for lunch
Right.
because they just don't have seats
Yeah,
available.
right.
So that's why we have to leave some wiggle room there for principals to figure that out logistically.
Okay. Well, y'all, this has been extremely informative. Holy cow. Thank you all very much. And I can check this one off the list on the
I'm
bucket
glad
list.
you can check it off your
This
list.
is, I've been
We
looking
could
forward
do
to
a
this one for
season
so
2
long.
sometime if
Yeah.
you wanted to.
Heck
So-
yeah. Oh, we could y'all should come back. We could do like, updates on things in the school. Oh, that would be awesome. I would love it.
You can arm wrestle.
You can, please do.
Oh, please.
Please do. I will
We're
have
not
a
playing
table set
chess,
up right there.
obviously.
Yeah, she's stronger
Oh,
than she looks.
I'll bring in my bees. You can bring in your woodworking.
there you go.
We can have a whole
So you can
tutorial.
build a table to put the honey on that you harvest
just build
while
it.
I'm playing chess in the corner.
There you
That's
go.
fine. That's no problem.
So interesting.
You'll get lots of views, I'm sure. So.
Somebody out there watching is like, wow, that would be great.
But I do want to give a shout out to our director of schools and your director of schools.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people think, and some of your questions on Facebook, I think people thought that we were the directors of schools.
Yes.
We're not, but
Yeah.
that happens sometimes. I was hired by Harry Gill 20 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
He actually texted me a few weeks ago and said he ran into somebody who said, "Oh, you used to work for James Evans."
Oh, that's
and he said, "Wow." He texted me and said,
That's-
"The tables have turned."
The tables have turned, yeah.
So no, we're not the directors of school.
No.
But we do work for two great guys, and I think we're part of their valuable part of their team. But the buck does not stop with us. So if you have complaints, call Dr. Duke. That's what I'm trying to say.
I say if you have complaints, call Don Barch. Either way.
There you go. Yeah. I'm curious. Y'all but probably have some thick skin of some stuff you probably hear about from parents and deal with. Yeah. Like that's pretty impressive. So thank you all.
Oh
for
yeah,
what you do.
it's sometimes it's hard to not respond to those. Like really,
Oh my
do you
gosh,
not?
yes.
But you just have to just realize
yeah.
that they're just not informed or misinformed, and
Yeah.
so you just
Or they're angry for some unknown reason
Mm-hmm.
that we're like, okay.
But we all know that feeling, right?
Yeah.
Your kids, even your most level-headed, calm parents, something happens with their child, they will lose it. I've been there.
Yes.
We've all been there. So if you come at it from that mindset, that it's probably not you that are upset, it's just the emotions of the situation.
Yeah.
That's what helps kind of just dismiss some of that. And there have been times that parents have called back and said, "I'm really sorry for the way I spoke to you yesterday.
Yeah.
I was just upset because of my child."
Yeah.
And that's always appreciated. But we
Oh,
get
well, there you
it.
go.
We get it. We're parents. We
Yeah.
get it. So
All right.
yeah.
Cool. Well, awesome. Well, thank you all again for coming on. I appreciate it. I'll go ahead and we can wrap it up there. I know y'all got to head back. Anyways, thank you all again. Oh, one more thing real quick. If people want more information about the schools, Murfreesboro City Schools, where can they reach out to you? Where can they find the information? All that sort of stuff.
We have a website, cityschools.net. Every school has a website. On the bottom of the website, it says Ask
Okay.
MCS. That comes directly to me. So that's
Wow.
an easy way of doing
Oh,
it.
10,000 emails later.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay. All right. Cool. How about Rutherford County?
Yeah, rcschools.net. They can always reach out to me or anyone else at the central office. That's what we're there for. We'll
All
help
right.
out.
Cool. All right. Well, again, thank you all very much. Really, 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 really appreciate it. And we got to do round 2.
All right.
Do that. So
Got it.
awesome. And for everybody out there watching and tuning in, thank you very much. We'll see you on the next one.